Please be seated. Okay. Good morning. Stanislaus Wong, Chair of the Chemistry Department, and I would like to extend a warm welcome to all the graduates, parents, friends, and family, faculty and staff, and other guests who have joined us today, both in person and streaming online, to celebrate the university's 66th commencement ceremony and the Chemistry Department's 56th Convocation. We are excited and thrilled that you have chosen to spend part of your morning with all of us. So before we begin, let me introduce you to some of my esteemed colleagues on stage. First and foremost, I would like to extend a special welcome to distinguished Professor Emeritus Stephen Koch, our speaker today. We will hear from him later during the ceremony. A number of faculty are also present. In particular, sitting in the front row are Professor Isaac Carrico, Vice Chair for Graduate Affairs and Graduate Program Director, Professor Catherine Albrecht, renowned for her work with educational initiatives, Professor Susan Otis, Master's Program Director, Professor Karina Chapman, Vice Chair for Facilities, and off to the side at the table is Ms. Catherine Hughes, the driving force behind the dedicated team of staff members responsible for the details that go into making today's festivities a resounding annual success. Indeed, today we celebrate the remarkable accomplishments of our undergraduate and graduate students who have completed their chemistry studies and earned degrees in chemistry at Stony Brook. It is a joyful and wonderful reminder of why we as faculty and staff come to work each and every day. We are here because of you, because our role is to teach skills, to convey knowledge, to enable your success, to support you in every way possible as you have fulfilled your promise and goals as individuals, as you have pursued your professional and personal dreams in being all that you can be. We in turn have learned so much from you and benefited a lot from your vibrant and dynamic presence. As you know, the last few years have witnessed a number of unprecedented challenges, from having to navigate an LIRR strike during finals week, to surviving the effects of a 2024 flood that put 74% of the building underwater, to overcoming changes in the federal funding landscape that have impacted higher education across the nation. And yet, through all of this and more, I am proud of how you have risen to the occasion, of how you have adapted and adjusted to these difficult circumstances, of how resilient and resourceful you have been in the face of obstacles and uncertainty, of how far you have come to get to this day. I am also grateful that many of you have shared in the numerous good times we have had. So many fun events, be it with our annual races with physics and astronomy, to our many department-wide efforts aimed at quality of life enhancements, including through university initiatives such as the Arts Everywhere program. We are a stronger and better department for having had you share our journey with us. So thank you. And this is my last commencement in my role as your chair. And over the last 3 years, I've tried my best for everyone, and at the core, I have been inspired and guided by the simple but resonant words of Star Trek's Captain Spock, namely that quote, "The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one," unquote. It has been my sincere and genuine privilege and honor to have served the needs of the many, the needs of all of you. So thank you. Our commencement ceremony today will begin with our Vice Chair for Graduate Affairs and Graduate Program Director, Professor Isaac Carrico, who will present our Graduate Award recipients and then the Graduate Degree recipients. So Isaac.
We have an outstanding group of students receiving advanced degrees this year, and I would like to begin by recognizing several students who have been selected by the Chemistry Department for special awards. When I call your name, please come up on stage to receive your award and remain for a group photo. The Chemistry Award for Excellence in Doctoral Research is awarded to graduating PhD students who have distinguished themselves through exceptional creativity and productivity in their research. This year, the award is presented to Andrew Nickel. Andrew, please come forward. Andrew worked with professors Amy Marshallock, Esther Takeuchi, and Kenneth Takeuchi. He is cited for advancing the understanding and mitigation of degradation pathways, limiting the lifetime of aqueous zinc-based batteries and non-aqueous lithium-based batteries through deliberate material and electrolyte modifications. The Chemistry Award for Outstanding Doctoral Student. Oh, wait, yeah, good. You're good. Right there. The Chemistry Award for Outstanding Doctoral Student is awarded to a graduating PhD student whose research achievements were judged to be truly exceptional. This year, it is presented to Wadid Shavin Delanca Fernando and Thomas Knoll. Wadid Shavin Delanca Fernando worked with Professor Sarita Bhatia. Shavin's PhD research provided the first experimental demonstration of controlled stratification in polymer nanoparticle films through a simple single-step evaporative assembly technique, leading to a first author paper in colloid and interface science communications and an invited first author article in the ACS journal Industrial and Engineering Chemistry Research. Javin has also been a co-author on publications in Nature Communications and Colloids and Surfaces A. He previously won a Best Poster Award at the Chemistry Research Day. Unfortunately, Thomas could not be here today. He worked with Professor Benjamin Levine. He is cited for developing high-performance methods and software for simulating electron dynamics for use in simulating ultra-fast dynamics and nonlinear optics. Thomas has served as Secretary of the Institute for Advanced Computational Science Student Association, Vice President of the SIAM Student Chapter, and Junior Leader in the Stony Brook Exploring Career Ladder Program. In 2026, Thomas was awarded the American Chemical Society Pride Merck Graduate Research Award. This is the 5th year we are giving the John Rudick Memorial Award for Outstanding Doctoral Student. John Rudick was a valued member of our department until his untimely passing in January of 2022. The 5th John Rudick Memorial Award for Outstanding Doctoral Student goes to Jessica Liu. Unfortunately, Jessica cannot be here today. Oh, she is here. Wonderful. Yay. That's much better. No, that's great. Jessica, who worked with Professors Amy Marshallock, Esther Takeuchi, and Kenneth Takeuchi, is cited for deepening the understanding of the structure and electrochemical reactivity of compositionally complex metal high entropy oxides, as well as generating insights into the surface chemistry of high-capacity 2D silicon-based materials. Next is the Lee Myers Award for Outstanding Doctoral Student, Chemistry Student, which is presented annually to an outstanding graduate student in the graduating class in honor and memory of Dr. Lee Myers, a 1978 doctoral graduate of the chemistry department who passed away in 1988. The recipient of this year's award is Brian Sanchez Montserrat. Brian. Brian worked with Professor Karina Chapman. He is recognized for his work studying how materials form in solution using synchrotron X-ray scattering and optical imaging. He designed experiments that track reactions over time and across space, showing how reaction conditions influence nucleation, growth, and final structure. He's known for finding practical, creative solutions to difficult experimental problems. The Maria Zambriodaki Memorial Award for Outstanding Doctoral Student is presented annually to one outstanding PhD student in the graduating class in honor and memory of Dr. Maria Zambriodaki. Dr. Zambriodaki was a 1996 Stony Brook PhD doctoral graduate and postdoctoral fellow who was advised by Professor Iwa Ojima. Tragically, she perished in the Swiss Air plane crash in September 1998. The recipient of this year's award is Catherine Takamura. Catherine worked with Professor Iwo Ojima, she is recognized for her exceptional achievements in the application of computational methods to microbiology, medicinal chemistry, and chemical biology at the interface of chemistry, biology, and medicine. Okay, thank you guys. Many chemistry courses at Stony Brook have large enrollments. The most highly individualized part of the instruction is provided by teaching assistants. What undergraduate students learn and their overall impression of laboratory courses and the workshops that accompany lecture courses are due in large part to their interactions with their TAs. We are pleased to recognize 4 first-year students and 2 advanced graduate students for their exceptional service to our undergraduate courses. When I call your name, please come forward to receive your award and remain for a group photo. The Chemistry Award for First-Year Teaching Assistant is presented to Sasha Stark. Sasha stands out as a star among the organic chemistry PhD graduate students in just her first year. Her dedication to success was displayed multiple times, especially when she went out of her way to help students. Her motivation, work ethic, and commitment to academic integrity and fairness is inspiring. The Chemistry Award for Advanced Teaching Assistant is presented to Manisha Gunawardana, Kati Kankan Munge, Thushan Thilanka, and Kaushani Gunaranthi Wija Aleth Arak Chilage. Manisha served as a TA for a number of lab and lecture courses. He is being recognized in particular for his work in CHE 301, Physical Chemistry 1, where he showed dedication to the students, careful attention to detail in preparing homework solutions, and leadership in preparing records for academic assessment and managing the final exam under difficult circumstances. Thushan served as a TA for both first-year and upper division courses. He is being recognized in particular for his work in CHE 301, Physical Chemistry 1, for his patient and positive attitude when assisting students, prompt and professional manner in carrying out his duties, precisely prepared homework solutions, and leadership in managing the final exam under difficult circumstances. Kushani is cited for her exemplary dedication, hard work, and genuine desire to excel at teaching for efforts with managing the upper-level materials chemistry course. Okay, thank you guys. Last is the Chemistry Award for Outstanding Service. Despite their very demanding schedules and commitment to their research, many of our graduate students serve the department in various ways, from providing mentorship and guidance to newer or younger students in their labs, to assisting the department events and acting as ambassadors of the department to visiting prospective students. I would like to recognize a number of our graduating students who have been especially helpful and committed in their service, both within the department and outside the department. Please come forward and remain on stage for a group photo as I read your names. Kendra Becker. Grenelyn Yakas, who's not here. Thomas Knoll. Karishma Ramcharan. And Danielle Rosenberger. Now it is my honor to present this year's recipients of graduate degrees in chemistry. Graduate degree recipients complete their requirements at various times during the year and leave to pursue further education or professional development. Thus, many of them are not in attendance. First are those who have completed or will soon complete the Master of Arts in Teaching. All 3 graduates are here with us today. All of these students participated in the combined BS MAT program here at Stony Brook. They will receive their undergraduate and graduate degrees at the same time. Please come up on stage to be hooded as I call your name. Make sure to pause at the photographer's station as you exit. Marissa Lane. Masters of Arts in Teaching. Her advisor is Professor Susan Otis. Gianni Pilateri. Masters of Arts in Teaching. Her advisor is Professor Susan Otis. Damon Rush. Master of Arts in Teaching, advised by Professor Susan Otis. Next, we have those who have completed or will soon complete the Masters of Science. Of 13 graduates, 7 are here with us today. Please come up on stage to be hooded as I call your name, and please remember to pause at the photographer's station. Dorothea Finnell. Okay. Dorothea was advised by Professor Sarah Mason. The title of her thesis is Compositional Tuning and Oxygen Release, How the Local Coordination Environment Affects the Stability of Layered Metal Oxide Cathode Materials. Nicole Kalinowski. Nicole was advised by Professor Susan Otis and did a coursework-based master's. Anika Manaf. Anika was advised by Professor Dan Raleigh, Professor Susan Otis de Hood. Anika's thesis is entitled Investigating the Aggregation Behavior of Q10R-IAPP mutant and the 1237 fragment. Elsie Otieno. Elsie was advised by Professor Matt Parker, Professor Susan Otis de Hood. The title of her thesis is The Synthesis and Application of Diketopiperazine Forming Cleavable Linkers in Radiofluorination. Alexander Rizel. Alexander was advised by Professor Iwao Ojima, and the title of his thesis is Design and Synthesis of Fourth Generation C10 Carbamoyl Taxoid Chemotherapeutic Drugs. Hayden Snyders. Professor Sarita Bhatia is hooding Hayden. The title of Hayden's thesis is Polymeric Characterization of the Intrinsically Disordered Tau Protein via Small-Angle X-ray Scattering and Molecular Dynamic Simulation. Shiwan Su. Shiwan was advised by Professor Daniel Raleigh, Professor Susan Otis de Hood. The title of Shiwan's thesis is Investigating IAPP amyloidogenesis, can't say that quite right, effects in elephant sequence variations in development of IR and FRET-based detection methods. Of 24 students who have completed or will soon complete the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, 13 are with us here today. As I call the names of the degree recipients who are in attendance, I ask that they come on stage together with their advisor to be hooded. Damien Amarudin. Damien was advised by Professor Benjamin Shao, Professor Devinder Mahajan. The title of Damien's thesis is Integrated Materials and Systems for Sustainable Ultra-Pure Water Production from Waste Heat-Driven Water Purification to Advanced Gas Separation. Kendra Becker. Kendra was advised by Professor Jessica Seeliger. I'm going to hood Kendra. The title of Kendra's thesis is Utilizing Proximity Labeling to Identify Surface-Associated Proteins in Mycobacteria. Wadid Shavin Fernando. Wadij was advised by Professor Sarita Bhatia. Wadij's thesis is entitled Stratification in Evaporatively Assembled Polymer Nanoparticle Films, Experimental and Computational Studies. Kaushani Gunaranthi Wijalath Arak Chilage. Kaushani was advised by Professor Benjamin Shao and Professor Dilip Kursape, Professor Stan Wong de Hood. The title of Kaushani's thesis is Ion-Mediated Cellulose-Based Hydrogels for Anti-Freezing Performance, Infrastructure Durability, and Coastal Resilience. Yulong Gao. Yulong Gao was advised by Professor Elizabeth Boone. The title of Yulong's thesis is Conformational Change of NOSP-Induced C328V Mutagenesis Alters its heme-binding behavior in Burkholderia thaliendensis. I should say that better. Andrew Nickel. Andrew was advised by Professors Amy Marshallock and Esther Takeuchi and Ken Takeuchi. Andrew's thesis is entitled Mechanistic Study of Cathode Materials for Rechargeable Zinc Ion and Lithium Ion Energy Storage Systems. Sayagatham Pataru. Gautam was advised by Professor Elizabeth Boone. The title of Gautam's thesis is Role of Kinase Signaling in Nutrient Metabolism Towards Virulence in Pseudomonas aeruginosa. Karishma Ramcharan. Karishma was advised by Professor Elizabeth Boone. Karishma's thesis is entitled Pseudomonas aeruginosa maintains RSMA homeostasis through cyclic di-GMP signaling. Danielle Rosenberger. Danielle was advised by Professor Peter Tong. The title of Danielle's thesis is Exploring the Structural Pathways of Signal Transduction in Photoactive Proteins. Brian Sanchez Montserrat. Brian was advised by Professor Karina Chapman. Brian's thesis is entitled Hidden Pathways, Resolving Nanomaterial Formation in Time and Space. Cody Shaw. Cody was previously advised by Professor Matt Eisenman. He is advised now by Catherine Albrecht and Professor Robert Aller. Cody's thesis is entitled Investigating the Relationship of Mineralogy and Dissolution Kinetics of Magnesium Hydroxide and Calcium Carbonate within Ocean Alkalinity Enhancement Experiments for Safe and Effective Carbon Dioxide Removal Strategies. Catherine Takamura. Catherine was advised by Professor Iwao Ojima. The title of Catherine's thesis is Integrating Computational Methods for the Study and Targeting of Pathogenic Fungi. Yunlei Zhang. Yunlei was advised by Professor Scott Laughlin. The title of Yunlei's thesis was Development of a Spatiotemporal Controlled Calcium-Activated Neuron Recorder.
With Amy and Esther.
Jessica Lau. Jessica was advised by Professors Amy Marshallog and Esther Takeuchi. Finally, I welcome Brian Sanchez Montserrat and back on stage for presentations on behalf of our graduates.
All right. Oh, sorry. My phone is sliding. All right, good morning, everyone. When I first came to Stony Brook, I thought I had it all planned out. I was going to find the next big thing in batteries, save the world, and 5 years later, people would have to call me Dr. Brian. Then, I met my advisor. She wanted to know why I wanted a PhD. And I told her my big plans on batteries and green energy. And she said, you know what's really interesting? Concrete. And I was like, what? And we really started talking, and that's when I realized, oh no, I don't know half as much as I thought I did. And honestly, that was the most important part of this experience. Realizing that you don't know what you don't know, and then figuring it out. A PhD is not a straight path. It's more like a choose-your-own-adventure book. You start with one question, you follow it, then suddenly you're doing something you never expected to do. For me, it meant collecting dozens of webcams, opening cans of worms about lighting and color correction, buying sous vides and fish tanks, all in the name of chemistry. I don't think I'm the only one here who went through something like this. We all ended up doing something unexpected to get to the bottom of our research questions. We've all been through so much in these last 5 years. Plagues, floods, fire, alarms, so many fire alarms. So we have a lot to be proud of, not necessarily because everything went perfectly to plan, but because it didn't. We followed each question to the next question and to the next question, and we figured it out as we went. What I got out of this experience was that I don't know everything, but I know that I can figure it out with good mentors, good colleagues, and a strong support system. And that we can take anywhere we go. Congrats to my fellow graduates, and thank you all.
Okay. Thank you very much, Brian, for your remarks. It is my distinct pleasure and honor to introduce Professor Stephen Koch, Emeritus Professor of Chemistry, who will give the Convocation address. Professor Koch and his team are particularly renowned for their efforts in the area of bio-inorganic chemistry, specifically in elucidating the structure and function of metal ions in biological systems through an inorganic approach. Steve is also recognized for his service, not only as the chemistry department's undergraduate program director, but also as a programming co-chair for the ACS Division of Inorganic Chemistry for over 10 years. Moreover, the department is especially grateful to him and to Professor Michelle Millar, not only for establishing the Stony Brook Lectureship in Inorganic Chemistry with the inaugural Franklin Award Lecture delivered by Professor Harry Gray in 2009, but also for his creation this past academic year of the Michelle Millar Endowed Chair in Molecular Inorganic Chemistry in Michelle's memory. I remember being warmly welcomed by Michelle and Steve when I first arrived at Stony Brook close to 26 years ago. And in the years since, I've always appreciated and admired their shrewdness, intellect, independent-mindedness, and overriding dedication to and mentorship of students at both the undergraduate and the graduate levels. We will hear much about this long-standing and inspirational interest, passion, and commitment to student success today from Steve. So please, let us all welcome Professor Steve Koch to the podium.
Catherine, I have 45 minutes, right? I had to tell Catherine yesterday I was going to tell that joke so she didn't have a heart attack. It's congratulations to the graduates, both of the bachelor's and the PhDs. When I was invited to give this talk, I thought about my own graduation. I graduated in 4 years with a BS in chemistry from Fordham. College has been 4 years for, 200 years, despite the fact that the number of chemicals that are known in inorganic and biological chemistry and organic chemistry is 300 million. When I graduated with a PhD, it was 1 million. So a vast amount of information has been learned since then, but still graduate school is maybe it's increased a year to 5 years. When I was a student, it was maybe 4 years. I took 4.5 years. So when I look back, how did I choose my field? It had an interesting story because I went to Fordham, I took organic chemistry, and I loved organic chemistry. I told the students I did every problem at the end of the book. I did very well. There was only one minor problem. You had to draw organic molecules. And back in 1970s, an organic chemist would come to Fordham to give a research seminar and do it totally on the blackboard. I couldn't draw a cyclohexane boat or chair, and I figured there was no way I could ever be an organic chemist. So junior year, I took physical chemistry. Liked it a lot. Didn't like PChem lab so much because they still having you write 10-page, 20-page reports, even though the experiment you want to do it over again and get it right. I also took a course in inorganic chemistry. It was by far the worst course any of the professors at Fordham. This was the 60s, so a number of the students went to the dean and tried to get the guy fired. The dean explained to us what tenure was. I thought tenure was despicable. I changed my mind as I grew older. So in the summer between my junior and senior year, I came to Stony Brook sponsored by the NSF, a program to introduce students to do research. So I was going to be a physical chemist. I talked to people, our first chairman, Francis Bonner, Bob Schneider, some other people. I was going to finally work with somebody who was using molecular beams. Even though I figured I'd be built and wouldn't achieve nothing because it's going to take them many years to build this instrument. But the second night I was here, there was a big electrical storm, and the lights went out in the dorm. I had to crawl out of the dorm. I don't know if Stony Brook is any better. There were no emergency lights. If I had my door open to the hallway, I could see where I had to go. If I shut that door, it was totally black. I went to the professor who was in charge of the program, and he said, "Steve, why don't you come into my house tonight? We'll figure out this thing tomorrow, get you a new dorm room." After dinner, he told me what he was doing. He was studying molybdenum chemistry and explained to me about how molybdenum was important in certain proteins. This was before the name bioinorganic chemistry was even discovered. So I said, well, I just know no inorganic chemistry. So he said, doesn't matter. He gave me the inorganic textbook, Cotton Wilkinson, and in the morning I went to the library for a few hours looking through all the wonderful, exciting compounds. I had never seen anything like them. And by noon, I was working for him. I was an inorganic chemist. I never looked back. And when I think about it, if it hadn't been that rainstorm, I would have never been an inorganic chemist. I would have never met, they mentioned my wife, who I met the first day of graduate school at MIT. And oh my God, I might have been a physical chemist. So I went to graduate school. I went to MIT. Why did I pick that? It was the best thing in inorganic chemistry. And that's what I advise students. When you go to the best school you can get into. I took the undergraduate inorganic course at MIT. I never took a graduate course in inorganic chemistry. I taught two my first year at Stony Brook. That was the challenge. Let's see where I'm going here. So, okay, it's the reason MIT was the best place in the world for studying inorganic chemistry, they had the #1 professor in inorganic chemistry, F. Albert Cotton. I decided not to work for him, and to work for one of his former students. And about 3 months after I made that decision, he announced he was going to Texas A&M. And I had a friend who was there to avoid the draft. You could go to graduate ROTC. He told me all these incredible stories. If you looked up Italian restaurants in the yellow pages, Pizza Hut and Pizza Inn, for the benefit, that's for the parents. For the students, if you Google now Italian restaurants, it's but where did I wind up going to postdoc? F. Albert Cotton at Texas A&M. It's after my wife also went there. It's first year we looked for jobs. Well, let me preface this. When I started graduate school, this is hard to believe, there was not one woman chemistry professor in the United States at a research university. It's remarkable. There were people who didn't take women in their groups. And my wife, future wife, had suffered from that. So when we went and looked for jobs, we had 2 different names. We never thought somebody would give us 2 positions at the same school. Cotton wrote us a joint letter without us asking him to do that. He compared us to Pierre and Madame Curie. That was nice, but we struck out the first year. We looked for jobs. And the next year, we switched to another Cornell for a postdoc, second postdoc. And the first place, we decided we'd only apply to every other. One would apply to one school, another to another school. First place I got was Stony Brook. And she got jobs at NYU and Hunter. She made a mistake and she went to NYU, where they totally mistreated her. She got a grant before I did. When I got a grant, my colleagues were happy. You have to have grants to get tenure. You have to have money to support your students. She only got the grant because she was a woman. Well, she finally, after a long struggle, did get a job at Stony Brook, a tenure job, but she took 14 years. That took a lot out of both of us. When I came to Stony Brook, okay, I like this, a job, 1978. My startup funds, this is for the current new hires, were $5,000, a dry box, and free glass shop time. I think I talked to one of our new assistant professors, and I think she was implying they were giving her $2 million to set up a lab. Well, just want to say one other thing. The NMR in the lobby, which Professor Latimer used to discover MRI, I used that instrument. I looked at it. He only came to Stony Brook in 1969, so he wasn't looking for students. So totally remarkable that he used to use the instrument at night and tune it in a different way for NMR. But I used that very instrument, learned how to use it. I had a very productive career. I closed my lab and retired, but then they found 2 meteorites on 2 molecules I made of meteorites, so I'm back in the lab trying to investigate. I won't tell you about my research, but go to YouTube, look for Stephen Koch and cyanide. If you look for Stephen Koch, it's not good enough. Cyanide, you find out what we did. I had fun in research. Okay, one of the things, which I'll leave you with this, I discovered that Dr. Frankenstein was the first synthetic inorganic chemist. So I use my time. Go out there, graduates. I had never took a graduate course in inorganic chemistry. The only course in biology course I had was in high school biology. So you got your degree, now you start to learn. You start to either work in a lab, do research. You learn when you stop taking classes. And good luck.
Thank you, Professor Koch. Now we will recognize those students graduating with bachelor's degrees. First, I would like to present those students graduating with honors in chemistry. Honors in chemistry is earned through a combination of excellent academic work and the completion of a research project and thesis in the senior year. Awardees will receive a special diploma from the Office of Records later this summer. When I call your name, please come up on stage and remain standing here for a group photo. And after you shake hands with the chair, please move down the stage towards the podium so we can all fit on stage. I ask the audience to please hold your applause until the last name is called. Stephen Amato, who did undergraduate research with Christopher Johnson, and the title of his undergraduate thesis is Modification of LTQ Mass Spectrometer to Induce UV Photodissociation in Iodine Oxide Clusters. Ebby Gall, who worked with Professor Dale Druckheimer, and the title of her thesis is Development of a Nickel Pincer Catalyst for the Nitrile Aldol Reduction. Max Gazes, who worked with Professor Iwao Ojima, and the title of his undergraduate thesis is The Synthesis of 3 Truxilic Acid-Based Fatty Acid Binding Protein Inhibitors Aimed at the Treatment of Prostate Cancer and Chronic Pain. John Harity, who worked with Professor Mariah Nagin, and the title of his thesis was Python-based NMR Refinement of RNA Structures in Amber. Daniel Hu, who worked with Professor Benjamin Chow, and the title of his thesis is Removal of Phosphate by Iron 3+ Cross-Linked Cellulose Nanofiber Hydrogels. Unaya Mudira, who worked with Professor Maya Endo in the Department of Material Science and Chemical Engineering, and the title of her thesis is Interfacial Dispersive Interactions in Hydrocarbon Thin Films Mediate Differential E. coli Adhesion. Lingjue Pan, who worked with Professor Michael Mack in Pharmacological Sciences, and the thesis title is Collagen Rapid Self-Assembly and Macromolecular Crowding and Application in Tissue Engineering. Bryant Pena, who worked with Professor Sarita Bhatia, and the title of his thesis is Characterization of Thermoresponsive Amphiphilic Graft Copolymer Systems, Critical Micelle Concentration and Enthalpy of Gelation. Dev Sharma, who worked with Professor Iwao Ojima, the title of his thesis is Resynthesis of acyl hydrazone-based antifungal agents and synthesis of a novel taxoid-derived chemotherapeutics with in vitro cytotoxicity evaluation. Chelsea Tang, who also worked with Professor Iwao Ojima, and the title of her thesis is Design and Synthesis of Substituted Benzaldehyde Derivatives with Palladium-Catalyzed Suzuki Coupling. Alexis Wang, who worked with Professor Benjamin Chow, title of the thesis is Effects of Dissolved Organic Matter on PFAS Adsorption and Fouling of Granular Activated Carbon. And Ziro Zhang, who worked with Professor Peter Tong, with the thesis Developing a Nanobret Assay to Profile Inhibitors of Juxtamembrane KIT Mutants. Congratulations all. Next, I would like to recognize the recipients of this year's Ronald T. Gary Award. The purpose of this award is to recognize 3 seniors who have excelled in a few key areas, namely GPA, volunteerism, and diligence and/or conscientiousness. Will Ebby Gall please come forward? Ebby is graduating summa cum laude. She was elected to and joined Phi Beta Kappa. She will continue at Stony Brook, moving into the MS phase of her BS-MS program in the fall. Will Lingshui Pan please come forward? Lingshui is graduating summa cum laude. He won an academic achievement award, and he will start a PhD program in materials science and engineering at Carnegie Mellon University in the fall. Will Gianna Piliteri please come forward? Gianna will be completing her BS and her Master of Arts in Teaching at the same time this May. Next, I would like to recognize 9 students as recipients of this year's Chemistry Award for Outstanding Academic Achievement. Please come forward as I call your names and remain on stage for a group photo. Stephen Amato. Isabella Chen. Victoria Flores. Ziqing Gao. Daeyun Jung. Lingshui Pan. Maxime Savinkov. Sorry, I got ahead. Dev Sharma and Siro Zhang. All of these students have GPAs in excess of 3.8 and are graduating with university honors. I would now like to acknowledge students who have received awards from outside the department. Please come forward as I call your name and remain on stage for a photo. Stephen Amato received the ACS New York Section Outstanding College Student Award for Excellence in Chemical Sciences. Siro Zhang received the ACS New York Section Outstanding College Student Award for Excellence in Biomolecular Chemistry. John Harity received the ACS Division of Physical Chemistry Award. Maxime Savinkov received the ACS Division of Inorganic Chemistry Award, and apparently we don't have your certificate yet, but we will forward it when we have it. Dev Sharma received the New York section of the ACS Division of Organic Chemistry Award. And congratulations all on your recognition from outside groups. I have the honor to present the candidates for degrees of Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science in Chemistry and Engineering Chemistry. Of the 74 students completing bachelor's degrees, 55 are here with us today. Will the candidates for the degrees of Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science in Chemistry and Engineering Chemistry please come forward as your names are called? Laziza Abduholikova. Laziza plans to return to Uzbekistan to work for her government, and she hopes to work at the Ministry of Innovation. Ramisha Anand Odhora. Ramisha was a tutor at the Academic Success and Tutoring Center. She will return to Stony Brook in the fall to pursue her master's in chemistry. Marzia Alam. Marzia plans to search for jobs in industry. Stephen Amato. Stephen is graduating summa cum laude. He plans to work in industry after graduation. Sheila Arshad. Sheila plans to work as a cosmetic chemist in the future. Alexander Banks. Alexander is already working as a chemist at Hilford Chemical Corporation. Stefan Bazil. Stefan plans to get some good sleep. Vitalashvara Keshava Bhargava. Vitalashvara is graduating cum laude. He was a volunteer coordinator at KISM, a Stony Brook program that helps children affected by a parent's cancer. He plans to take a gap year before medical school, where he will work in psychology research and clinical care. Adriana Cavoto. Adriana did research in Professor Maria Nagin's lab. Regina Celaya Beltran. Regina, an international student from Mexico, is graduating cum laude. She was an executive board member of the Newman Catholic Club and rose to the position of vice president. She was an executive board member and founder of the Mexican Student Organization and served as its secretary. Regina plans to search for jobs as a research assistant as well as chemistry teacher. Isabella Chen. Isabella is graduating summa cum laude with ACS certification. She plans to get a second degree in nursing, but first would like to travel. Stephanie Chen. Stephanie was co-founder and president of the Community Garden Club. She plans to work for a bit in New York before going to graduate school. Carson DeFady. Carson is graduating cum laude. He was a member of the Trading Card Game Club. He's planning to start graduate school in chemistry in the fall at Rutgers. Rebecca Diaz. Rebecca is graduating with ACS certification. She was a NIST Surf Fellow and a Francis Vallée Women in Science Fellow. She did research in Professor Mariah Nagin's research lab, and she will join the chemistry PhD program in Stony Brook in the fall. Victoria Flores. Victoria is graduating magna cum laude. She plans to follow her dreams by pursuing further education in physics with hopes of getting a PhD in astrophysics. Rufa Fuertes. Rufa was on the dean's list. She was a member of the National Society of Leadership and Success. After graduation, she plans to gain hands-on experience by working as a chemical technician, laboratory assistant, or research technician, and she plans to pursue a master's degree in a field related to cosmetics. Nyasa Godwal. Nyasa belonged to the Pre-Dental Society. She will be taking a year off to study for the DAT and plans to attend dental school in the future. Ebe Gal. Ebe is graduating summa cum laude. She was elected to join Phi Beta Kappa. She will continue at Stony Brook, moving into the MS phase of her BS-MS program. Maxwell Gazes. Max was a member of the 2024 iGEM team. He did research in Professor Ojima's lab, and he plans to continue work in synthetic chemistry in industry. Jashmin Gill. Jashmin was vice president of the Marksmanship Club. She plans to take a gap year to continue research on biomedical polymers in the Chemical and Molecular Engineering Department under the direction of Professors Aaron Slutsky and Miriam Rafelovich while applying for admission to dental school. Gabriela Graziano. Maha Haider. Maha was in the WISE Honors Program and on the Dean's List. She was a member of the Society of Cosmetic Chemists and the Stony Brook undergraduate chapter of the ACS. John Harity. John is graduating magna cum laude with ACS certification. He received a Eureka Fellowship and was on the Dean's List. He was president and secretary of the Stony Brook Running Club, and though I don't remember his exact placement, I think he certainly helped out chemistry standing in the chemistry versus physics running event. He did research and completed his senior thesis with Professor Mariah Nagin. In the fall, John will be moving to Canada to pursue a PhD in chemistry at the University of Toronto. Daniel Hu. Daniel was event coordinator of the Taiwanese Student Association in 2024 and 2025. He intends to take a year off to study for the MCAT and to work at a medical clinic before applying to medical school. Clarence Huang. Clarence completed the marine and atmospheric chemistry concentration of the chemistry degree. Rumaisa Islam. Rumaisa, who also minored in material science, didn't marry material science, was secretary of the Bengalis United. She was public relations officer for Southeast Asian Maid. She will be doing an internship at a water authority this summer, and she hopes to attend graduate school one day, but travel in the meantime. Lila Juma. Lila is graduating with ACS certification. She received a CPO Upstander Award. She was Secretary of Students for Tanzania, a member of the VIP team in STEM cell engineering, a member of the Garcia REU Research Experience for Undergraduate Program, a peer assistant leader, an RA, a chemistry undergraduate TA. She plans to apply to medical school this summer to pursue hemopathology, and she also plans to travel and get out of her comfort zone more. Eleanor Kuzimenko. Eleanor is graduating with ACS certification. She holds a University Scholars Executive Committee Leadership Certificate, and she was a project finalist for Chemistry Research Day. She will apply for admission to medical school this summer. Yi-Chen Lee. Yi-Chen is headed to UC Berkeley this fall to start her master's in material science and engineering. She has always been interested in semiconductors and hopes to move into that industry when she finishes her degree. Emily Lloyd. Emily is graduating magna cum laude. She was a member of the WISE Honors Program, a vice president of Mentors in Medicine, programming chair of Phi Beta Epsilon, and an event coordinator for the Ski and Snowboard Club, as well as lead tutor at the Tutoring Center. She plans to take a gap year and work as a medical assistant and study for the MCAT. She would also like to travel more and spend time with family and friends. Jarrett Lunati. Jarrett was a member of the Music Makers and Marksmanship Clubs. He is a chemist by day and musician by night. He plans to work in a research lab and further his music career on the side. He invites you to check out his Spotify, Jarrett Lunati. Unaya Mudira. Unaya is graduating with ACS certification. She was president of the Phi Delta Epsilon Medical Fraternity in 2025. She plans to apply to MD PhD programs this summer, as well as several baccalaureate research positions at the NIH, and she's accepted a summer internship with the ACS. Nicole Mattis. Nicole is graduating cum laude. She was also on the Dean's List. She will be headed back to Stony Brook this fall to start her PhD in chemistry. Kristen McClung. Kristen completed the environmental chemistry concentration of the BS chemistry degree. Mary Namazi. Mary is graduating with ACS certification. She will start veterinary school in the fall. Lingshui Pan. Lingshui is graduating summa cum laude. He won an academic achievement award and will start a PhD program in materials science and engineering at Carnegie Mellon in the fall, as you heard. Emma Papil. Emma is graduating magna cum laude. She was a member of the WISE Honors Program, and she will be starting a PhD program in atmospheric science at Texas A&M in the fall. Bryant Pena. Bryant is graduating cum laude and with ACS certification. He was an RA and on the Collegiate Science and Technology Entry Program Advisory Board for 3 years. He was a member of the Synthetic Biology E-Board and held various positions in the Latinos Business Association E-Board. He will start a PhD program at Louisiana State in the fall doing physical chemistry. Jacob Prager. Jake graduated cum laude and was on the Dean's List. He was president of the SBU Table Tennis Club and tutored math and Spanish for 2 years. Philip Puskarczyk. Philip was an event coordinator secretary for the Polish American Student Association, as well as a member of the men's rugby club for Stony Brook. He worked as an EMT for Port Jefferson Emergency Medical Services throughout his senior year. He will start the accelerated nursing program at Stony Brook in June. Raisa Razuk. Raisa was on the Dean's List. She was the event committee chair for the Society of Women Engineers and vice president of the Kickboxing Club. She will work as an R&D engineer at Zebra Technology in Lincolnshire, Chicago this summer. Maxime Savinkov. Maxime is graduating summa cum laude. He received a Kenneth M. Nicholas Eureka Fellowship in 2024 and was treasurer of the Russian Corner. He plans to pursue a PhD in quantitative pharmacology at the University of North Carolina. Arshaya Sharma. Arshaya was a member of the WISE Honors Program. She was also vice president of recruitment for Phi Delta Epsilon, a member of the American Cancer Society, and a member of the VIP team throughout the Department of Biomedical Engineering. In addition, she was a member of WOTC, a club that is part of a larger nonprofit that raises funds for surgeries and other health procedures. She plans to apply to medical school. She said she might even pick up a cookbook and learn to cook for herself because how much harder can it be compared to Orgo Lab? Though don't lick the, yeah, you can lick the spoon, don't lick the spatula. Dev Sharma. Dev is graduating magna cum laude. He was a senior academic member of the Phi Delta Epsilon medical fraternity. He will be applying to medical schools and looking for a clinical research coordinator position for his gap year. He'd also love to travel and maybe take up rock climbing. Ariana Shaw. Ariana minored in biology in addition to her chemistry degree. She plans to start her career and get married in the fall. She hopes to travel to some warm, sunny places. Masa Sheikh. Masa was selected for the MBA Fast Track program. In the fall, she will be transitioning to the graduate portion of the program in healthcare management at Stony Brook. She plans to begin working in a healthcare-related role so she can start applying what she's learned in chemistry and business to a real-world setting. Donna Singh. Donna will attend the Reserve Officer Training Corps commissioning later today. She was a member of the Women's Lacrosse Club team. While at Stony Brook, she plans to attend flight school through the United States Army and later attend medical school. Isha Singh. Isha is graduating cum laude. She plans to attend graduate school in pharmacy. Chelsea Tang. Chelsea belonged to the Chinese Association and was a member of Sigma Psi Theta in 2023 to 2025. She plans to take a gap year to work and take the MCAT. Brian Tophoy. Brian was chair of the Religious and Cultural Experience in the Jewish Student Association. Jacob Valdez. Jacob completed the biological chemistry concentration. Alexis Wang. Alexis was president and PR officer of the Chinese Association at Stony Brook. She was also layout editor and review writer for the Young Investigators Review. She plans to work in quality assurance for a cosmetic company. Chi-Wei Zhong. Chi-Wei intends to go to graduate school and get an MS in pharmaceutics and drug delivery at Northeastern. Siro Zhang. Siro is graduating summa cum laude. She received an Outstanding Achievement Award, and she will be continuing in the MS phase of the BSMS program here at Stony Brook in the fall. Junyong Zink. Junyon was on the dean's list for most of her time here at Stony Brook. She plans to attend pharmacy school, preferably at her top choice, the Massachusetts College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences, though she may take a gap year and find a job as a pharmacy technician. I now welcome Eleanor Kuzimenko and Bryant Pena to come back on stage to give us their thoughts and reflections on behalf of the senior class.
We're going to do this one Oscar style, if you know what I mean. All right.
Good morning.
All right. Good morning, faculty, family, friends, and most importantly, our graduating chemistry majors. Can we clap it up for them, please? First off, congratulations to all of us for surviving a degree where the phrase, "it should only take a few minutes," was almost always a lie. We came in thinking chemistry was colorful reactions and cool explosions, but quickly learned it was actually 90% calculations, 9% waiting for something to heat up, and 1% wondering why our yield was somehow 32%.
But somewhere between the late-night lab reports and moments of staring at spectra like they personally offended us, we became more than chemistry students. We became problem solvers. We learned patience, resilience, and how to stay calm even when nothing in the experiment or in life goes according to plan.
As chemistry majors, we've spent years studying interactions, bonds, and transformations. And we think that's fitting because college transformed us too. There was the professor who has seemingly been teaching chemistry since the invention of chemistry itself. The sarcastic one who made fun of us constantly. Another who reminded us that kindness exists even during exam season. One who balanced advising students with running probably every marathon ever created. And the lab professor everyone was slightly terrified of at first.
Additionally, these transformations couldn't have happened without the backbone of our individual support systems, from friends helping us form ridiculous mnemonics for molecular geometry, to our families applauding us on being bilingual after seeing our organic chemistry notes. We've been lucky enough to receive unwavering faith in our success from everyone around us.
Chemistry has a funny way of teaching us that failure is not the end of the process. Sometimes reactions need different conditions. Sometimes contamination ruins everything. Sometimes you start over completely. And somehow that lesson applies far beyond the lab.
So, as we move on, we hope we remember that growth, like chemistry, rarely happens without energy, pressure, and a little uncertainty. To the class of 2026, may your coffee be strong, your data reproducible, and your future full of reactions worth remembering. Congratulations, everyone.
We did it.
Okay, first some logistics. For the university ceremony, students and faculty should assemble at the West Campus Indoor Sports Complex parking lot number 7 between 10 and 10:30 wearing caps and gowns. The march will begin at 10:30 and the ceremony begins at 11. Faculty and PhD students should assemble at post 1. MS, BS, and BA students should assemble at post 3. And all guests must present a ticket in order to enter the Laval Stadium. So, on to something more important than logistics. Before I conclude, I'd like to recognize one final group of people. Will all parents and any spouses or partners of graduate students please stand? We thank you for the privilege of having these graduates as part of our community. On behalf of our graduates, I thank you for all of your support, and we congratulate you as well for all of their accomplishments. Thank you, and congratulations to all. Our ceremony is now concluded.